Look, my camera is crooked and I can't get it to be not crooked. I don't know what is happening, but I do know that I'm on my lunch break and I am very short on time, so it's gonna be a little bit of a messy episode and you're just gonna have to deal with that. I'm Nicole and welcome to episode 47 of the Nicole Stitches podcast. I am a left-handed crocheter, knitter, and general crafter coming to you from Northern Virginia where I work and live with my fiance and our cat Webster. You can keep up with me on Instagram at NicoleSPDesigns, on Ravelry as she writes things, and in my shop where I make and sell handmade project bags, notions pouches, and other fiber accessories, as well as original crochet pattern designs. There's also a Ravelry group for the podcast, and you can go there to get to know us and post a little bit about yourself. There's a Q&A thread where you can ask me anything you'd like to know and I'll answer in a future video. You can find the monthly pattern giveaway threads. The May one will be closing next week, I think, and I'll be drawing a winner. And the finished object and chatter threads for the NSP Comfy Crochet Cal, which is a casual crochet along that I am running this year for crocheted blankets. If you are a new viewer, thank you so much for choosing to spend a little bit of time with me. And if you're a return viewer, thanks for coming back. You may have noticed that I'm doing a little bit of speed talking today. And that is because, once again, I am deviating from my normal schedule of how I do things, and I am recording on Thursday during my lunch break. And my lunch break today has limited time, so I am trying to get this done before my alarm goes off telling me that I have to go back to work, and I'm out of time. Here we are. It's a mess. Okay. I'm just going to jump right into it. I have no progress on the wedding shawl debacle. I talked about this last week. I decided to frog the summer tide shawl that I was working on, which is a pattern by Helen Stewart of Curious Handmade, and I decided to switch and make the first bloom shawl, which is a pattern by Sylvia McFadden. I did frog the summer tide shawl. I have not started the first bloom shawl yet. I also have a finished object to share with you this week. It's a cross-stitch project, and I will show you that first as soon as I find what I did with it. Where'd I put it? Oh, it's over there. All right, what I'm gonna do is stick a picture in here to show you my finished object. I stitched this as a sample for my friend Heather, and her shop is called Mississippi Mayhem. This pattern features from Bob's Burgers, which is one of my favorite, currently running TV shows. It's a hilarious show. You should watch it if you're not familiar. It's amazing. But I did finish that this week, and the pattern is released as of yesterday, Wednesday. The pattern is released. It's in her shop. It's a super fun, quick stitch, and you should grab it if you're interested. And that is my finished object for the week. And now I'm just going to move on to works in progress. I have two works in progress that I'm going to show you this week. As I said, I have not worked on my wedding shawl at all. I have just been working on my basically my two sweater knitting projects are what I've worked on this week. So first I'll show you my Soldatna. This is a crop tee sweater pattern from Caitlin Hunter Boyland Knitworks, and let me find where I marked it last time. This was a dumb place to mark it. Okay, so here's my progress keeper from where I was last week, but this was obviously a poor choice because this is where the sleeve ended up. So you can't really get a good, well, I guess you kind of can. That's the progress that I've made since last week. I am on the body of the sweater right now, but I have a problem. I'm making this in Knit Picks Swish DK in the colors Rouge, which is this pink, Clementine, which is the orange you see here and here, and then this yellow. I bought a bare skein of Swish DK and I dyed it myself at home, and that is where my problem starts. So here's what happened. This is supposed to be a 4-color sweater. I had to only use 3 colors. So I did have a 4th color that I was starting to work in, but I just didn't like the way it looked, and I decided to just stick to the 3 colors. As a result, I obviously ended up using more yardage of the yellow than I planned for and then was recommended in the pattern. Now, usually Caitlin tells you that the yardage she tells you to get has a buffer built into it. So I think she said that the buffer that she builds in is like 10% more yarn than you should need. That said, the yardage obviously is based on what you should need if you're doing 4 colors. So just based on how I used the yarn, I did not have enough to keep going with the body down here. And I need to keep going because the place that it is stopped right now, it's decent, like it covers my chest, but it is not where I want to crop it. It is at a place that it's not that unflattering to me. Like, I could make it work, but it's just not a place that I like to wear cropped garments. It's a little high for me, and I wanted this to be longer. So fortunately, I do have plenty of the other two colors left, Clementine and Rouge. I have actually a whole nother skein of Clementine left. And the other thing is that I can get more of these two colors from Knit Picks. I can't get more of this yellow because I dyed it. I only dyed the one skein that I had, and I could never replicate this in a million years. Like, no. I'm not a professional, you know? These are not professional speckles. I could never replicate this yarn color. So the idea of like buying more Bear yarn and just dyeing it again is basically off the table. But I can buy more Rouge and Clementine if I run out. And as I mentioned last week, Swish is on sale this month. So if I need to do that, I can even save 20%. You know, not too shabs. So what I'm basically doing is I know the number of stitches that I have on the needles, like I know what my stitch count is, and I looked at the colorwork chart. So this whole chart here, I looked at it and I was able to find a segment that, because it's a yoke, so you start out with fewer stitches up here and then you work your way out, and there are increases in here. So I found a section of the chart that I liked that had the right number of stitches that I could also divide across the total number of body stitches, if that makes sense. The multiple that I'm using is actually, I'm going to do this. I've gone back and forth with a couple of sections that I was thinking about doing. I was thinking about doing more of these diamonds. I was thinking about doing this vertical business, but what I'm going to do is another strip like this around the bottom of the horizontal lines and then the arrows and then the other horizontal. I'm going to do that in Rouge and Clementine, and then I'm going to do my ribbing. And that should give me a length that I like. If it is still a little bit short, that's okay, because in my experience, Swish grows vertically when you block it, so that should cover me. And if it still doesn't, I have high-waisted pants and I have dresses that I could wear it over, and, you know, tank tops. I can just make it work. So, you know, in theory, I could make it work at the length that it is, but I just don't want to leave it at that length. I want to try and make it longer if I can. And my next project is, did I mark this last week? No. I didn't mark my progress last week. I didn't mark where I was, but that's okay. This is the My Boy Lollipop by Nancy Ricci. Her Instagram handle is Getting Pearly with It, and she's doing a month-long cowl for this top. I think she already finished the one that she had cast on for the cowl, and I think she cast on another one. She's like bananas. She's so speedy, and she makes these all the time, and they're all beautiful. So I haven't done a ton of work on this in the past week, but I have done some, and as you can see, I've started my color block effect. So I'm using Knit Picks Comfy Sport Weight in the colorways Peony and Flamingo. And I pulled completely from stash for this. I didn't want to buy new yarn. I only wanted to let myself do it if I had enough in stash that would work. So I had 2 skeins of Peony and 2 skeins of Flamingo in stash, and it was not quite enough of either one to do the whole sweater. So these two, I got them in a value pack together from Knit Picks, so I knew they went together, and I decided to just color block it. So I am working my way through the body section of the sweater now. I have switched to my lighter color because I want the sleeves to be in this color. So I needed to save back enough that I could finish off the sleeves. But I've started my lighter color, and the rest of the body and the ribbing will be in this lighter pink. I'm hoping it'll look nice. I put this on once before I had switched the colors over, and it was a flattering color on me. If the color blocking does not suit the way that I would like it to, I'll probably just over dye the sweater, because it fits me really nicely. It's a cute pattern, and you know, you don't want to put in all that work to just not wear it because it doesn't look quite right on you. So that's my plan. I'm trying to color block. I think it'll look pretty nice color blocked, but if it doesn't, I'm just gonna dye it. And that is all the progress that I had to share with you this week. It's gonna be a pretty short episode. I am rushed. I feel bad about that. I hope I haven't spoken so quickly that you can't understand what I'm saying, but I am just trying to get it done. My priority is to give you guys an episode as opposed to skip the episode. I would rather give you an episode that is super short, but it's still here and it's still an update and, you know, I'm checking in and sharing with you than to just skip over it entirely, especially considering I did have to skip one recently already. I don't want to do that again. As a personal update, this past weekend, we went to Baltimore. It was Mother's Day weekend in the US. I know that different regions of the world have different Mother's Days, but I'm in Virginia, so this past Sunday was our Mother's Day. So Adam and I drove up to Baltimore, and we actually, we kind of went our separate ways for this Mother's Day. He went to do stuff with his family, and I went to do stuff with my mom. We actually did my hair trial for the wedding, which was exciting, and then we went to my dress fitting. So I got to put my wedding dress back on, and I got all pinned up, and actually I had my hair done for my hair trial still, so we kind of got to have like a feel for what the look was gonna be. And basically then I just had to stand there and let this lady pin 10,000 pins in all the places. But it was very fun, and I'm looking forward to seeing my dress again with it all finished. I'm a super short person, so obviously basically everything I own needs to be hemmed. So that was one big thing that I wanted to see done for my dress. I wanted to see it hemmed to an appropriate length, and I'm excited for that. So that should be pretty nice. And then this weekend, Adam and I are going on another adventure, and Webster is coming too. We are actually going to be going to Williamsburg, Virginia, which is a few hours ride. We've done it in a day before where we drove to Williamsburg and we drove home the same day, but that is kind of a lot, admittedly. We generally, if we're going to go to Williamsburg, we prefer to go and spend the night there. I would say we go at least once a year, just because, again, it's accessible to us. And there's lots of fun stuff to do in Williamsburg. They have a few theme parks in the area. They have outlets, they have fun restaurants, and they have, you know, a lot of historical stuff. So we like to go to Busch Gardens when we go to Williamsburg, which is an amusement park. It's a very, very pretty amusement park. It's a good combination between like nice ambiance environment and good food and rides. So it's not exclusively wild rides. Like, it's not like a Six Flags where you go there to get on a bananas roller coaster and like pee your pants out of fear. But there are some good rides there, and they have started having food and wine festivals, basically like Disney does food and wine. They have started kind of doing a similar thing at Busch Gardens. We went last year and it was really fun. I think last year might have been the first or second year that they had done it. So we're going back this year, and we are really excited. We've looked at the menus already. We've downloaded the map to where all the different country food stalls are, and we have ourselves all worked up and ready to go. And because we are going away overnight, we have decided to bring Webster with us on this one. We are staying in his parents' like vacation place, so we are able to bring Webster with us, and that way he won't be left to his own devices all weekend long. We can still have him around, and that'll be a good time. He does hate the car ride. He screams the whole way there. But you know, we'd rather have him with us than leave him here by himself. And of course, I will have lots of knitting time, so I am thinking that I will finish at least one of these this weekend, maybe, unless I run out of yarn. We'll see. But that is my update. Yeah, so again, this is going to be a really short episode, but I appreciate you tuning in anyway, and I'll try to maybe have more stuff to share with you next week. I don't have a new in my queue segment. I didn't have time to prepare it, and I don't have the time to record it. So I'm really sorry about that. But again, next week I will try to have all of that for you. And I appreciate your patience and your tolerance and everything. So thank you very much. If you want to, if you liked the video, give it a like. If you want to know every time I post a new one, you can subscribe and it will pop into your subscription box. Leave me a comment below letting me know what you thought, what you're working on, what you would do if you ran out of your hand-dyed yarn that you could never get more of in the middle of your sweater. If you want to keep up with me, you can use any of the social media channels I mentioned. Check out the shop if you're interested in seeing what I make. I hope you have a good week, get lots of crafting done, and I'll see you next time. Bye!